I wouldn't even just entice the ones in WCA network. I think we need to look a little bit beyond that.
Digital solutions are the key of the forwarding and the future of the forwarding.
My operators actually looked forward to it because they were looking like, well, can we scale this? Can we work with other freight forwarders in the same manner? Because it just makes things faster, it's cleaner, it's smoother all around.
With so many freight software solutions available today, ever wondered how forwarders can truly collaborate with their partners, regardless of the system on the other side? FREIGHTOSCOPE introduced FOS Connect, enabling seamless sharing of shipment data, milestones, and updates across platforms. Hear from forwarders RAM International Shipping in the US and Uni-Logistics in Poland as they share how they used FOS Connect through FREIGHTOSCOPE's freight management system. Please introduce your companies and their specializations.
RAM International has been in business since 2011. We built the company on being very effective in e-commerce. We're one of the first pioneers. That is our primary lane. We also do auto shipments. We are asset-based freight forwarder located next to New York.
So Uni-Logistics is medium-sized Polish freight forwarder with almost 20 years of history on Polish market. We cover whole Poland. We work with partners, with agents all over the world. There are approximately 150 people on board. We specialize in R&C, but of course we also do tracking with our own warehouses, and we are customs broker. Part of our business is also project cargo and military cargo, so tactical business and tactical movements.
When it comes to the collaboration between agents for shipments, what are the typical challenges?
As anything, it's communication. I think the second one is trust in the agent to be capable of getting the job done. The last one usually are the financial risks that cover the transactions themselves. It's always prudent to have those safeguards in place in order for you to have an effective transaction on a global scale.
When it comes to everyday, I would say operations, one of the factors that we also need to mention is time difference. So when we need the information, we need the information as fast as possible, and sometimes it is hard to get it because of time difference. Apart from that, what Terry said, I would highly agree that these are the most challenges that we have.
When FREIGHTOSCOPE approached you about participating in the FOS Connect pilot between the US and Poland, what made you interested in taking on this digital collaboration challenge?
I know FREIGHTOSCOPE for probably 2.5 years. It all started when we first were looking for a system for ourselves. At that time, I got introduced to FREIGHTOSCOPE. They were building their system, building their strength, and we continuously kept monitoring their progress because we believe in the system that it will fulfill the need for us. That relationship has been built in place for a long time. In our interest and FREIGHTOSCOPE's interest, we want them to be at the level where we can utilize them across multiple lanes. All of those things require very different tools, very different approaches. With that in mind, we're continuously with FREIGHTOSCOPE seeing the avenues where they excel in for us to be able to utilize them more in our day-to-day. The understanding that they will be making it direct with the clients, especially under the WCA umbrella, was very lucrative because it's something that's been in discussion for quite some time. So when that happened, we wanted to be one of the first ones to test it to see how good and how effective and efficient that will be for us on a daily basis.
Any projects involving digitalization in today's world, which in further perspective makes the work easier for our employees and partners, are in scope of our interests. So when Terry and FREIGHTOSCOPE asked us to join the pilot, we didn't hesitate because we see that that's the future of the forwarding, that we need to provide as much information in as short time as possible. And without tools, this is difficult to do, especially when you take into consideration the high costs of the workforce. We need to optimize, we need to implement possibilities and options for our people to act faster, to improve, as we want to see what's on the market, what's going on, and what are the possibilities for us to make the flow easier.
Can you walk us through how FOS Connect helps shipments move digitally between RAM Shipping and Uni-Logistics?
From what I understand, these are my key operators that were working on the system. They were satisfied because they received a lot of training from FREIGHTOSCOPE during the phase of onboarding. So they were able to troubleshoot some of the nuances to expect how to do it the best way. And when they did have a transaction, things went very convenient, smooth, and effective for them. They were quite happy with the outcome. My operators actually looked forward to it because they were looking like, well, can we scale this? Can we work with other freight forwarders in the same manner? Because it just makes things faster. It's cleaner, it's smoother all around.
I agree. That's what we've heard as well, that the workflow is structurized, starting with the inquiry, through the offer, to the order, documents, all the milestones. Everything is kept in one place. So the whole process is actually, everything is done in one text. That's the most important, right? Of course, the communication outside the system is also necessary. However, it's limited. And that's the biggest issue. Thanks to the system, we can limit the communication to minimum.
What benefits did you see from sharing shipment data, documents, and milestones electronically between your systems?
Speed and accuracy. If you see something's off, you can immediately address it within the system, and the counterparty immediately sees it, red flag, they tend to this, and it's done. It eliminates the possibility of, I didn't see it, I missed it, too many things happened. That feature by itself is very important, especially when you're having hundreds of transactions a day that you have to process. Things always happen, something always goes wrong with the carriers, in the entire supply chain. Having that ability, the efficiency of addressing the issue that quick, I think it's extremely valuable.
Because in perfect world, everything runs smoothly. The shipment is, we receive the order, we provide the offer, receive the order, load is loaded, and it goes and it arrives, everyone's happy. That's the perfect world. In actual world, a lot of things that happen on the way. Like Terry said, time saving in troubleshooting, in solving the problems is crucial in our job. That's why having a digital tool, having an option to provide everything in one place is something that we need. It's something that we see is the future, and that helps us to act more efficiently. That's most important.
Do you think this type of digital collaboration ultimately benefits your customers, the shippers, and consignees? If so, how?
I absolutely believe the customer benefits. Through us, customer receives improved quality of service because the quality of service is also mirrored to the other side. Because if two agents do as per necessary requirements with the ability to resolve things quickly, it provides value to the client because the shipment and anything that happens gets through in time without additional issues, expenses, delays. That is very beneficial to the client. That ability for two parties which are intricate to the transaction and supply chain able to operate as one, that gives benefits to entire supply chain from beginning to the end.
For our customers, for the customers and the shippers, the information is key. They need to plan the production, they need to plan the inventory, deliveries for their customers. It's important for them to receive the information on a timely manner. Allowing that by providing this information throughout the digital tool allows them to move faster. Solving problems is also one of the issues that thanks to the information exchange within the tool, we can easily check what are the further steps, provide this to the shipper, provide it to the customers, so that they plan everything according to their plans, their production, etc.
Looking ahead, how do you see digital collaboration like FOS Connect shaping the future of freight forwarding networks?
I mean, technology is already shaping the future, right? It's happening, like it or not. The question is, are you in line with the changes or are you behind? This type of tool and this technology and communication, especially under the umbrella of WCA, it propels the ability of independent freight forwarders on a global scale to be able to compete with larger entities who have more resources to deploy in development of their own unique systems, and ability for an independent freight forwarder to compete kind of closes and narrows the gap. It is essential for us to understand that certain things we can do by ourselves, but that certain things are better to be done together.
I agree that we need to be in line with those digital changes. Making it easier and making the process easier is something that is the future of the forwarding. We need to provide tools to our employees, to our partners, to our customers, shippers, customs brokers. The traditional forwarding that we know from past, 20, 30 years, I think will change dramatically thanks to tools like this. Most important thing is to adapt those digital tools to the company and to the partners that you work with. Thanks to the network and the partners that are gathered in one network, I am sure that most of our partners, eventually will use this or any other tool in order to communicate.
Would you encourage other forwarders in the WCA network to explore FOS Connect. And what would you say to them?
I'll have a little correction there. I wouldn't even just entice the ones in WCA network. I think we need to look a little bit beyond that. It's not just about the scope of people that are here. It's just an general and overall improvement in the industry of communication between the counterparties on an international global scale.
Digital solutions are the key of the forwarding and the future of the forwarding. Without them, I don't see the future of development of both companies, forwarders, and the networks. So like Terry said, WCA, of course, if provides such tool, we should use it as much as possible. However, encourage other companies also to improve digitalization. That's the future.